Okay. All right, so welcome everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time today to learn about our new PlayPosit 3.0 upgrade. My name is Catherine Sabanos. I am your point of contact for all things PlayPosit. So whether that is running a training at your school, meeting with you for one-on-one office hours, or if you have any tech issues at all, I am your go-to person. I've included my email on this slide here. That's how you can get directly in touch with me. And I've also included my Calendly link. This is where you can sign up for office hours to meet with me if you need any support at all. I have a background in instructional design, as well as I was a former educator. So happy to support you in any way possible in your use of PlayPosit. Today, we're going to go through just 4 sections of our agenda. So first, I'll talk about just rebuilding PlayPosit and some of the reasons behind it. I'll talk through all of the new features. I have some pre-recorded screencasts so that you can see some of the new features in action, and then I'll demo from a 3.0 account so that you can see what your account will look like. I'll talk through some new features that are coming down the pipeline, and then lastly, just how to reach out and get support. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into why we decided to rebuild 3.0. So we had 3 goals in mind when rebuilding and creating more features. One is just more granular control. We really wanted to make the learner experience more personalized. So now you have more granular control, not only over just individual bulbs themselves, but over individual interactions. And you'll see that in a lot of the new features today. Our second goal is just to make our platform more seamless and intuitive. We listened to a lot of feature requests and feedback. We interviewed a lot of instructors and instructional designers and administrators, and we really just wanted to make sure our platform was easy and intuitive to use, and so that it was a lot faster for you to create your content and get it in front of your students as soon as possible. And then lastly, we've added a lot of advanced functionalities, some of which will be released in August and others that are coming down the pipeline. But we really wanted to include more features all in one platform, in one place, so that you're not having to use one program for one thing, another program for the other, but just to create this more a better experience for your students, so that they can have this personalized learning and have it all be included in one place. And so with that, when we were talking to instructors and administrators, and we even spoke to some of the students, we really wanted to make sure that we are resolving these pain points. We would hear from students that a lot of times they would be disengaged with online learning experience, or they would feel disconnected from their peers while taking and completing video assignments on their own, or they would have one thing in one place and another thing in another place, and it would feel very disconnected. And so PlayPosit kind of wraps that all together and allows for learners to not only just be engaged within the content, but really engage with each other through discussion forums or through learner-made bulbs, and really just making sure that everything is in one place, nicely embedded within your learning management system. And then from the institution and instructor point of view, a lot of times institutions were concerned that students were not always completing their online courses. Or were afraid that students were not fully engaged with the online course and it would cause them to drop out. And so PlayPosit really addresses those concerns and allows for institutions to analyze data and be able to see how students are performing and see what their feedback is to their instructors based on the videos. and to make sure that everything is a smooth and seamless experience for them. And then from instructors and instructional designers, it can be a real pain to manage courses from one semester to the next and having to go through and update things. And then especially if your school decides to switch out video content hosts on you, you have to go through and rebuild all that content. PlayPosit makes your lives a lot easier because it's so easy to edit and revise content and copy from one course to the from one semester to the next semester. And you're able to go in, view that historical data on your students all within PlayPosit to better update your content. And then if you have your video source switched on you, you're able to still keep all that content that you built and just simply switch out your video source. So nothing gets lost, everything is still there, all the time and hard work that you spent is still captured, and you're able to use that within PlayPosit, since we work as just an outer layer over the videos that you are using. All right, so now let's jump into what are the new features, which I know that you are all excited to hear about. So the first part that I wanted to go over is this personalized feedback system. So one of the pain points in which we're trying to solve here is making sure that students are getting in the moment feedback that immediately addresses misconceptions. A lot of times students don't feel like they have that feedback constantly coming to them from their instructors. And so we've created a system to not only just leave text feedback, but now you can record your audio or video within that feedback, and then tie it using our jumping functionality to bring you to a different section of a different video altogether, or to just re-watch a section of the video. To get a better idea of how this works, we're going to go ahead and watch a quick screencast. So a student is completing a bowl, the video plays, the interaction pops up. This is our auto-graded fill in the blank. The student goes in, fills in their response, and the response is incorrect. That student can now click the continue button to jump them back to re-watch this section of the video and then have another attempt at answering this interaction. So now that same interaction is going to pop up again, and that student is going to be able to retry that individual interaction, solidifying the correct response. And now it's correct. Another new feature is that we've allowed for students to be able to upload video responses. So there's one of two ways of doing this. One way is to pull a pre-recorded video into a free response and upload it and submit it to their instructor. In some cases, for our partners who have full institutional license, there will be a video recorder included right on within the rich text editor for students to be able to record themselves right into the interaction itself. Another new feature that we have been working really hard on is this non-linear branching pathways functionality. So you can now have these hotspots and overlays. These are just two reflective pauses, and they are tied using our jumping functionality. So a student goes in, selects what they would like to explore more about, and it's actually jumping them to an entirely different video altogether, although it looks like it is all on one continuous video timeline. We've adjusted to make all videos appear within the same timeline rather than having separate scrub bars for each individual video. And then you can include another reflective pause as a back button for a student to then select and go back to the original menu and select the option that they have not selected before. We've updated our discussion forum to allow for students to also record their audio or video within a discussion timeline timeline. They can also upload images within that video to allow for students to interact and really be part of a learning community. So students can go in, leave these timestamp searchable comments right on top of a video. So for this example, this is an instructor video. However, this feature is also available within our learner-made bulbs settings as well. So if a student goes in, creates their own bulb, adds a discussion forum to it, they can then receive time-stamped searchable feedback right on top of the bulb that they have created. And then lastly, I have to say that this is by far my most favorite upgrade that we have added to our platform, is this student note-taking capability. So now, whether you have a video with interactions or you just simply take any video that you have, put it into PlayPosit, assign it to your students through your learning management system. Students always have the capability to take these time-stamped, searchable, and exportable notes on top of any video. So this is a really great and powerful study tool for them to go in, take all these notes, and then right before they have to write a paper or before an exam, they can go in, review their notes, click on the timestamp, be brought to that section of the video for them to review. They can type in keywords within their notes to search through them and filter them, and then they can also download them into a text file. And this is possible with any video. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my demo account and then share with you what it looks like from the design perspective. Okay, so most accounts are being switched over on August 1st. We do have some exceptions where some schools who may be in the middle of a semester, in the middle of teaching, they'll be switched over in late August. Please reach out to your administrator or to myself if you're curious to know what the date is for your migration process. But most of you, when you log in to your account on August 1st, this is what your new 3.0 account will look like. So similar to your setup that you have now, where you have your bulb library, you have your classes, pre-made bulbs on the left-hand side, you will also have all of your bulbs automatically transferred over into the new 3.0 account. So all of your old content will transfer over. To add a new bulb, I'm just going to click Add New Bulb, and a new tab will pop out. This is going to take you through kind of a 3-step design process. When you log in for the first time, you'll get these great tutorial videos that will kind of help walk you through the process. But the first step is just to simply add a video. If your school is using a private video host, such as Kaltura, or Panopto, Wistia, your integration will be turned on right here, where you'll have access to all of your content. I'm gonna go ahead and search for a YouTube video and pull up a video from there, just like you would in the current environment. I'm gonna simply select my video, and then I can be done here, or I can go through and customize it. This next step is where you're going to pull your captions from. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch those auto-generated captions from YouTube. If you are using a third-party caption provider, you are able to always upload your own VTT or SRT file here. And then the last step is just to trim and crop if you would like. And then in this advanced setting is where you can find that internal crop, similar to how the current environment works. Once I'm done, I just click Done. So from here, I can add multiple videos. All videos will appear on the same scrub bar, like I was saying before. So now when a student goes in and accesses a bulb, they'll be able to see that total timestamp rather than just seeing that first timestamp. This will also allow you to use that jumping functionality if you'd like to switch from different videos. Students can select the video that they'd like to learn more about in kind of like a playlist fashion, and then it's all going to be on one continuous timeline. To add interactions, I'm just going to go to this interaction panel. We've added a template gallery. So as I was saying earlier, one of our goals is really just to make things easy and intuitive. So we wanted to speed up the process from which someone goes from the building phase to the assigning to students phase. So rather than reinventing the wheel every single time, you can now select one of these templated interactions to go on top of your video, and then you can go through and edit them. So say I wanted to add a pre and post assessment. This will add 2 free response questions in the sidebar at the beginning and at the end of the bulb. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, click OK, and now that template has been added to my bulb. I can also just add interactions individually just by clicking Add Interaction. I can adjust on the timeline where I'd like that interaction to pop up, click Add Interaction, and then my menu of all the different interactions pops up. Multiple choice, check all, fill in the blank. These are all of your auto-graded interactions. Free response is the only one that you have to go in and manually grade yourself, which is very easy to do on the monitor page. And then we've also added, we've kind of separated these into annotations. So reflective pause and web embed, these are non-graded, and then the polling survey and discussion forum are also non-graded. Anytime you see this question mark, you can always click on it and it will give you a more in-depth explanation as to what that interaction can do. We've also added templates to individual interactions. So if you know that you'd like to include a word bank, for example, it's going to automatically generate that word bank for you. So again, you're not having to go in and create everything from scratch. It's here right here for you, and you can just go ahead and change the values of that table. I'm going to go ahead and add in a multiple choice interaction. So here I'm just going to simply type in my question and then add my answer choices and then select my correct response. Within this gear icon, this is where I can add my feedback, and then I can also add a jump if I'd like. I can add a jump for a correct response, or I can add a jump for an incorrect response as well. In all of our interactions, you'll see that you have this advanced button. This is where all of your individual interaction settings are going to be housed. So here's where you can allow for multiple attempts per interaction. You can decide how many attempts you would like. So for this one, if I just want 2 attempts, I'm just going to keep it there. You can also allow for learners to rewind after reaching that specific interaction. So again, just more granular control over individual interactions rather than just the bulb as a whole. Once you're done figuring out the settings and adding your interaction, you can always just click done and be done right then and there. Or if you want to go in and customize it further, you can customize the placement and the timing. You're no longer limited to these sidebar interactions. You can now place interactions on top of videos. So here you can preview what this looks like. In the advanced settings, you can adjust to move it around the video wherever you'd like it to appear. You can make it expandable, collapsible. You can make it transparent now. Really, however you'd like to design this is completely up to you. And then the last step is timing. Interactions can now be durational. So rather than having just an interaction pop up, student responds and then it goes away, interactions can appear for a set amount of time. So if you have, say, a reflective pause and you really want for students to hone in on a specific part of a video, you can type in what they should be focused on, have that interaction appear for that length of time, and then if it's not required, then the interaction will just disappear at the end of that duration. Once I'm done, I just click done, and now my interaction has been added to my timeline. I can always drag and drop if I enable this drag and drop for reordering to move around my interactions. To edit them, I can always just click back into it, and it's going to bring me back to that editing phase to change anything that I need to do. Lastly, in the review panel, this is where you're going to find all of your specific bulb settings. And this is where you can preview your bulbs so that you can see what it looks like from the student perspective. We've added this tagging capability. So now you can organize and tag your bulbs with specific subjects, or if you wanted to organize them by each semester, you can do so, allowing you to search a lot easier for them. You also have your playback options, just like you do in your in the current environment, to allow for viewers to rewind, skip questions, fast forward, but all of these are also available within each individual interaction as well. And then we've also upgraded the privacy settings. So now you can make each individual bulb a different setting. So if you have a bulb that you would like to share with the PlayPosit community, you can make that bulb public, and then you can make the rest of your bulbs completely private. Entirely up to you, but we wanted to make sure to give you the option if you had some specific bulbs that you wanted to share, whether it's to the entire PlayPosit community or if you just wanted to share them specifically with the people at your school, you can make it visible for people at your district or institution. And then lastly, if I'd like to go through and preview my bulb, I'm just gonna go ahead and click Save It and then Preview. And now this is where I can see what it will look like from the student perspective. Let me go ahead and play this. Mute it. A few things from the student perspective. Students can now speed up or slow down the video if they'd like to. All of these captions are able to be turned on for students to allow for accessibility. And then students can always find that note-taking capability within this sidebar. So if I click on the little menu option to pull up the sidebar, oops, clicked it too many times. This is where I can find these notes. So this is where I can take a note. You'll see I have a video recorder option, audio recorder option. I can upload an image or another video. Once I have my note, I submit it, and then this is all time-stamped and searchable. So I can always click on that timestamp at a later date to review where I left that note. I can edit it, delete it. All notes are always viewable by the instructor. So it is up to you if you would like to view them from your students, or you do not need to. This is where I can download into a text file if I need to take those notes to go. And then you also, students will also have access to the transcript to be able to go through and click on any part of the transcript to bring them to that specific part of the video after it plays through. They can also search through the transcript for keywords as well. Great. All right, let me go ahead and pull up. I have a few more upgrades for you all. So the last thing that I wanted to show you that is changing is just our new upgraded analytics page. So now you will be able to view these different layers of analytics similar to what you have in the current environment, but things are just going to look a little bit different. So you still have your bird's eye view of how your class is performing overall on a specific bulb. But then you can dive into specific students, click on any interaction, and then you're going to be able to see what that question was and how that student responded. You're better able to group and filter through this way so that you can really see which students are performing well and which students may need a little bit more support. You also have access to the status, so you can see if they're still completing the bulb or if they have finished. All right, so that is it for all of the new features that are that will be released and that are completed. I'm going to go through some additional features that will be released, if not August 1st, when your account is transferred, then later at a later date. So we are working to rebuild our learner-made bulb process. So now you can add, instructors will be able to add a rubric to a learner-made bulb, and we're also perfecting the process of collaborating on learner-made bulbs as well. We are rebuilding our broadcast functionality. So we're looking to include some more graphs and charts to really display in the moment data for instructors to be able to use that data to drive their instruction in live synchronous courses. So this will also be released when your account is transferred. So keep an eye out for that and some new upcoming features. We've also been working on adding the capability for dual stream. So if your school uses dual stream from your private video host, you will now be able to take that dual stream video and it will be supported within PlayPosit, which is really great. If you are an administrator, your admin dashboard is going through an upgrade as well, which will be released in August. So now you'll be able to just view some more analytics, either by individual instructors, individual courses, or by your school as a whole. And then we've also added a new media library. So as an admin, you're able to view all instructors' media, and you're able to organize and categorize that and search through it. So if you do have someone who leaves or transfers into a different position, you still have access to all of their content, and you're able to give it to other people who can then go ahead and use it. We're also working on a peer review process. So this will be released at a later date. We're going through the process of perfecting this peer review process for students to be able to complete a learner-made bulb, upload their own video, and then add a rubric or discussion form or both right on top of that video, and then receive feedback from their peers. So they can assign it to a group of peers within their course, and then their peers will go in and then offer their feedback on their video, complete however many that they need to, and then that student can also view their feedback on their specific video, and then submit a final version of their video to their instructor. So again, just trying to make things all in one place rather than having one functionality in one platform, one functionality in another platform, just making it all very easy to use in one place. All right, and then lastly, how will you get support if you need it? For the first few months, we will offer a live tech support. So you have this chat feature capability that will pop up on the bottom of your screen for you to reach out, ask one of our live support people for specific questions that you may have as you're going through and checking out all of the new features. So know that that will be available for you if you need it. And then lastly, if you need support at all, please feel free to reach out to me. I am your point of contact for all things. So whether you just have a question, are having some issues, or just would love to meet and go over just different ways of how to use PlayPosit, I am more than happy to meet with you. This is my email if you'd like to reach out and ask your question here, and then as well as my link to my direct calendar for you to go ahead and schedule a time to meet. I'm going to go ahead and pause my sharing, and then I noticed that there were some questions that came in the chat box, so I can go ahead and address those now. And then if you're good to go, feel free to leave. I will be sending out this recording to everyone who attended today. And then if you have any questions, please feel free to follow up with me. Someone asked, can an instructor comment on student notes? Not yet, but if you do have a discussion forum going in your on your bulb, instructors can comment through that discussion forum now. Someone else asked, can students set notes as private or shared? Right now, all notes are set to just be shared with their instructor, no one else. And then will student groups sync with the LMS? I'm guessing that is for the peer review functionality. Yes, eventually they will be able to pull student groups from your LMS. Someone else asked if we updated our documentation. Yes, we absolutely have. You can find all new knowledge base articles within our knowledge base, which is just knowledge.playposit.com, and you can search through our knowledge base. We also have a new accessibility doc. We've gone through extensive accessibility training or accessibility testing to ensure that everything is 100% accessible, and you can view that from our knowledge base, as well as any tutorials, things like that. Someone else asked, do students know that instructors can see their notes? Yes, students will know. I was viewing the bulb in preview mode, so that little notification did not pop up. However, when a student actually goes in and clicks on the notes, there will be a little yellow notification that will let them know these notes are viewable by your instructor. Currently, discussion forums and notes are not graded. Someone asked if this will be integrated in your learning management system. Absolutely. As soon as your school has transferred over into the new environment, whether that is August 1st or at a later date, everything will be accessible within your learning management system. The workflow to create content, assign a bulb, has all remained the same. The release date for PlayPosit 3.0 with all the new features is set for August 1st. Unless your school is in the middle of a semester, then we have figured out a different date. Either reach out to myself or your admin at your school to determine when that date is. But for most of you, it will be August 1st. Someone asked, do students have to go to a bulb to see notes for that bulb? Yes, students would have to go inside the bulb because those notes are tied to that specific video. Someone asked, can instructors co-create bulbs outside of the LMS? That feature is something that we have received a few requests, and we are working to figure out a better process, but it's not perfected yet. And I will be sending out the recording to you. Someone else asked about that. Someone asked, is there a way for the completion of a bulb to not be recorded in a gradebook in Canvas? Yes, Abby, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to share with you that workflow. Within Canvas, there are different ways to assign bulbs so that they are not graded and not recorded within the Canvas gradebook. So I'm happy to send you that knowledge base article, Abby. Someone asked if students' notes, if the note export would include a URL link. in case they need to cite it for papers. Not currently, there won't be a URL link. It just creates a note file. It will be produced as a plain text file. Is the support for teachers 24/7? No, not 24/7. We will have some set times which that support will be available, but please feel free to email me directly and I will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. Is there a way to set a due date for the graded portion of a bulb? You can do that within your learning management system. You can set a due date when you go in and create the assignment. Someone asked, will peer review feedback comments be time-stamped on the video in context? Yes. So the peer review feedback comments, it will work similarly to the discussion forum. Someone asked, is it possible to transfer ownership of bulbs to other instructors? Or is it possible to co-own bulbs between various instructors? Absolutely. If you have a number of multiple bulbs that need to be transferred, please just reach out to me and I'm happy to do that for you to speed up that process rather than going through and having for you to copy from one account to the other. We can absolutely do that for you. Instructors can co-author bulbs and co-collaborate on bulbs within your learning management system. And then someone asked for me to share my email again. Absolutely. Let me go ahead and share that. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm excited for you all to experience the new platform. And like I said, please feel free to reach out to me with any questions. And everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your day.